All default farmer. Right? From the inception of the time I graduated at the National Youth Campus at Presto, I did agriculture as one of my main subjects there. And I was selected at the camp to obtain a dairy farm in Wallerfield, a 20-acre plot. My first job after graduating was going to the Martin Junior Sec as a teaching agriculture to the youths there. But I didn't stay there long, just about 3 months, and then I had to come and occupy the farm. And from then I had never turned back.
Right.
It's roughly about 60 years that I am on the farm. I'm 81 now.
And this is all a 20-acre farm.
Yeah, 20 acres.
Okay. What do you have on the farm?
Originally dairy alone.
Mm-hmm.
And as the industry became so flexible, right? We had loans with the ADB bank. We ran into some problem with them, and my feet holds it that I did like agriculture to an extent that I didn't want to give up. So I continue and try to develop on my own. Right? There were a lot of issues with the bank, with the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Marine. They put a lot of pressure on us. At the beginning, I was one of the most successful farmers. As a matter of fact, I had won all the first prizes in the Ministry of Agriculture Farmer of the Year and into Nestle. Until they had no more prize to offer me, that Dr. Patrick Allen, who was the then permanent secretary, he offered me a prize trip to go to the United States to visit the big farms. And that was a great opportunity for me because the then Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Judge Chambers, he was the Minister of Agriculture and he accompanied us. 16 of us went, two dairy farmers, one from Tobago, one from Trinidad, myself, and a vegetable farmer, Mr. Singh from Arangues. We made tours, we stayed up there for approximately 3 weeks. We saw all what was going on with the dairy. When I got there, boy, my head was so big with what I saw that I came back to Trinidad and started to mobilize the farmers together. I used to keep meeting at my place here. I prepare a report, the Ministry of Agriculture hand over one to the Nestle company and one to the ADB bank.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they were surprised to see that an ordinary farmer could have compiled a report like that. But there were so many bosses in those institutions that they just crumbled it up, put it in the waste basket. And all that I asked for the farmers around to have a better understanding in dairy. Well, it didn't stand.
So now you see the state of the dairy industry today. You think it can survive, or
It has collapsed.
and why is that?
Definitely.
Because
The fact that they're not giving the farmers a fair deal. We are being subsidized by the Ministry of Agriculture, right? And the farmers are being so discouraged that they more or less had to do other things on the farm to survive. And worst of all was the pre-deal larceny. We have a state of prime pre-deal larceny in Trinidad here. And even the ministry went on so far to disband the entire pre-deal larceny squad.
so I see you have diversified a bit. You have corn,
My whole farm
okra,
is diversified.
and
And
this
all-
plant here is
yeah.
what, dragon fruit.
This is the dragon fruit. It's a very
Mm-hmm.
long crop because the way I set it up is a crop that you have a duration of 20 to 25 years
Production.
lifespan of the
Mhm.
production. It starts to be at 9 months date to date, and after that it's not going back as long as you maintain it properly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only one up on this northern side that have it like this. All of the people come to see it.
Mm-hmm.
The Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Rambarat, at the time,
Mhm.
he invited so many people to come on the farm to see. But I would like to see a waste with him because he had a lot of problems now. He made a lot of promises with me on the farm when he came. The drone, his office, did the whole 20 acre. They interviewed me about 4 times. My son was in the country, they interviewed him. He made promises upon promises, and the only thing happened that they had given me a grant to invest. Well, I invested.
That's the $100,000 grant.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's the only thing they did for me. Because when they see the thing, they took samples of my soil. They took at time I had a big what do they call it? Thing field that there was some the Sahara dust and the leaf. They were having some problem with it. So they took samples and the coconut, 4,000 coconut trees on the farm. And they took samples of all these things and promised me that they're going to carry all these tests and whatnot to analyze and return to me with the results. Well, up to this day, it's going on 8 months now.
So, do you have any issues in relation to your lease for the property?
Yeah, wow. It's only, I'll show you what, it's only yesterday that I got a copy of the offer. You have it on the card, I'll show it to you. And it's about 3 years now since we applied. Everything on the farm was above board. And they keep telling us that thing, this, that. I had the most distressing thing for me at the time. I had a resort there, which I was teaching primary school, Montessori schools to come in and visit. Well, that was going so well that I had school from Westmoreland, Point Fortin, Komodo. The school would come, they would have to bring the parent and the teachers. We had pools, we had a cafeteria and a playing area. So sometime up to 100 students would come and we would take them in batch, carry some so, carry some this way, and they spend the entire day. They would normally come in at 8 and by 5 o'clock, so the entire day. And the teachers and the parents, they were shocked what the children would have achieved for that
period of time.
Surprisingly, they asked when I was going to apply for the renewal of the lease. The officer who came, she said that, Mr. Defoe, I'm sorry to see what you have aspired here and what you are doing for the youths, that I am just the officer to report him. You'll have to shut down the resort in the Turure because the land is strictly for agriculture. Well, that was the most disturbing thing for me. I had no other choice in order that they would renew the lease. Then I had completely went out of the dairy. I shut down the dairy. No cows for about 12 to 15 years. And then forced that I have to reset the dairy before I can get my lease renewed. Well, boy, my son, well, he insists, well, if the Ministry of Agriculture says so, we have to apply, we have to abide. We invested over $300,000 in cows, milking cows to start back our dairy. It's there when we go down there, you'll see what I do. A big investment is when the minister came, Mr. Rambarat came, he said he don't know why the Ministry of Agriculture put me through that.
Insisted to go back into dairy.
He said as long as you're providing something on the farm, crops that you can pay your bills, put food on the table of the family and sustain yourself, that shouldn't be a problem. Because they and all see how the dairy had failed miserably. I had one of the best dairy farms in Trinidad and Tobago. I beat Turure, I beat Valentine, I beat Bahaw, and all these were the big producers. My records show it, that I was producing 2.5 per cow per day, which they couldn't make it. So you could imagine. The sugarcane feeding center in Londonville, Mr. Nicholas, they were happy. They're sending people to see how I grew my young cows. Well, there's so much to talk about that. Well, when I see what was happening, I decided to go into permanent crop, which is less hassle and less expense. Because the fine crops that I started doing, they say you can't do that because the land ain't for that and wow.
So you had to apply for a change of use?
I applied, right? I told them that I was only going to mine bulls, right, Mr. The permanent secretary there, they had changed him, so they tell me I'll have to come into the ministry. I started 15 young bulls. I said I'll grow up only do beef. They said for they could give me that, okay, I'll have to come for a panel in the Ministry of Agriculture. That is in St. Clair. First week I went, one of the panel, two of the panel members was absent, so they just thrown it. second month, and next one was absent, they postponed it. The third month, when they see that I was on time, and they end up telling me, Mr. Defoe, we can't tell you do ever what you wish to provide. That time they be back on my case. You understand? My interest went up, it compounded, so I had to find ways and means to maintain my
Loan, yeah.
loan. So I started to do permanent crop. I planted exotic fruit, I planted this, I planted pumpsitter, taba, with processing company in Point Leases. Well, I got meeting with them, they saw what I was doing. And I used to grow the pumpsitter over 7,000 pumpsitter tree. I planted the miniature, giving them over 100 bags of pumpsitter per month. Full up and all. Yes. Well, but it's a lot of story. I had hellfire to my remuneration from them. They started to pay us every 2 weeks. We supply them for 2 weeks, sometimes 6 supply, and then they started a month, and then after 3 months you can't get money, but you have workers to pay, you have to maintain your field.
But I mean, you've experienced a lot in the agricultural industry.
Quite a
What would you say to somebody who's interested, or a young person interested in to go into
But I
farm?
still encourage young people, because to me it's the best job a young man could go into. You have no boss over you, right? You get up, day rainfall, sometime when I stay in my bed. You can't, you're in a private job or in a government job, you have to hustle and make sure and reach on time. Otherwise they cut your time, or they're ready to fire you. Nobody to fire me, right? All that I know, I have to work and provide for my kids. I have 4 children, 1 boy and 3 girls, 3 grand, and 1 great grand. So we actually have about 4 generations on the farm since I came here.
And they all working.
They all work on the farm,
Mhm.
and they are properly educated. We educate them through the farm. So I still will tell a young man, this is the way to go, right? All you have to be consistent, follow the rules, follow the structures, right? Despite the pre-deal larceny, access road is in a dilapidated state. I want us to go down here and show you what Mr. Cummings did to us when he hustled and get ownership of the Lakatatal Bahaw constituent. They have never returned to do a thing for Wallerfield. Imagine. You have a broken bridge down there, a car had to fall down in it. He came with a big fanfare, take pictures and say he's going to repair it. And that is in the latter part of last year. Look at rain. And have done nothing to it. The farmers down there have to diverse the area to get to their property or to get home. The taxis wouldn't go because they're frightened of the
Right.
dilapidated state of where.
Well, let's take a walk in the other sections of the farm, right?